You could literally start with $500, $250 on an engagement campaign.
Our guest today is McSwain, owner of Zayam Design, a Houston-based media and advertising agency.
I actually did not originally go into advertising.
Isaiah's led multi-million-dollar ad accounts while helping shape the future of advertising. He's known by clients as a strategic growth engine and plans to share insight on creatives, advertising, and beginning with the end in mind to maximize business growth with ads. And one thing I want to particularly say about this episode that really excites me is that in this episode, you'll truly see that it's not even just about the amount of money you have ready to start marketing, but do you have a strategy, and are you ready to make sure that it's backed up with data? Let's dial in and let's talk to Isaiah, and let's get into the marketing department. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Bree Flemons, back at now what's rebranded to be called the marketing department, previously content to cash. I got my boy Zay here in the building.
Hey.
And I'm so excited because I met Zay last year on a different campaign back when we was like doing some work for Pride Houston. And I've always been impressed with working with Isaiah because, to be honest, he's the reason why I kind of felt like positive about advertising. Me coming from the startup world, advertising was different in my world and marketing was different in my world. But it was nice to see like how certain kinds of advertising will never, ever, get played out. So I'm excited to speak with him. If you want to learn about paid media, performance-based marketing, he is the one for you. He is a perfect guy that can sit here and allow you to not only invest your money, but make it back. So
okay, that's the whole goal.
Super excited to talk to you. But Isaiah, I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell me, why advertising? What made you get into advertising?
Well, first, thank you for having me on your platform. I think marketing in itself is just like kind of convoluted. So even in advertising, it's just this big brain thought almost every time we hear about it or talk about it. And it is technical too, but why advertising? So I actually did not originally go into advertising. I think I was like every other person trying to do strategy. And I was like, what the hell is strategy? And then I end up actually like getting behind paid social, and from there it's kind of been a mix of me. It's data driven, it's creative, and it is profitable too. So I like all those things.
At what point, like, what did you ever see an ad or something and thought like, you know what, I could see myself like making those? Like, what really real analysts like, like, I like this. Is it because art? Is it because there's a form of art, creativity? Like, does it do something for your inner child?
I would say honestly, no. It was probably a mix of things. Like, I love being able to like see how the message resonates, kind of meeting with the models, actually going through the scripting, and then from there, like, kind of putting all that together and making some money back. But a long story short, I just fell in love with it.
We know you have an advertising agency. How many clients are you currently working with right now? And what does a typical ad budget look like for the businesses that you're serving?
Currently, I have consultation clients, and then I also have retainers. So in terms of like retainers, which is my bulk of business, I have 5 retainers, so it's not a lot. But then in terms of consultation clients, so I consult 2 teams, 2 in-house advertising teams, and then I consult 3 separate accounts. So that's 10 clients, but then only 5 retainers. So those consultation clients, they come in for like 3 hours a month, something really low. Typical budgets though for my retainers, they're spending on average, like on the low end. On the lowest end, you're looking at like $1,000 a month. And then like the average, like baseline between like 3 out of the 5 of them, it's about $5K a month. You could literally start with $500, $250 on an engagement campaign, but depending on your business goal, and we'll get into all of that. But
now, what's the number one mistake that you believe local service-based businesses make with their ads before they even found you?
Yes, a plethora of them, but I'll hit you with 3 of them. So the top 3 that I've noticed over time, people do not work with their data, their first party data well. And so that can look like, if I'm a service-based business, specifically our roofer, shout out to you, but specifically them. 2, another big mistake I realized, this one is kind of, I think we all do it at times, but to the point you made about budget, they weren't bidding enough for their business goal. And I would say a last one, and this one is pretty common as well, they don't really know where they want to advertise. They just want to be seen. And that's ego driven versus like
Right.
profit driven. Like you don't have that's not a profit mindset, that's an ego mindset. Like I can show your ad placement to millions of people if the money is there, but
Mhm.
that 500,000 people that we were actually going for, they never seen it because you wanted billboards, you want a kiosk in cities that they would never touch, that they would never go to, right?
So you also service CPG. So for those listening, CPGs, consumer packaged goods. Now, so with that being a bit different from the local based service based businesses, do you feel as though when it came to the CPG brands, was there a better return on ad spend with UGC like content and having some like a certain kind of videos rather than just like maybe carousels, or were you focusing more on like Google ads where you didn't maybe have to have all of that and you guys are more so bidding on keywords? I'd love to pick your brain there.
Yeah. First, I love that question when I seen it because I had to dig in my little archival mind and was like, wait, what campaign have I hit with that? So I want to take you
Mm-hmm.
to Caramel by the Sea in California. Blue's chocolates, they're actually sold in a shopping center there. And so
Mm-hmm.
this is back when I was in
Yeah.
corporate doing marketing. We
Mm-hmm.
had did a campaign with not local influencers, but people who were like in the neighborhood. So it was an affiliate program and it really
Gotcha.
worked. And so from there, I really realized like UGC could work. Now I haven't did it at scale. Let me say that. Hit y'all with the truth on that one. I have not ran UGC at scale for any of my clients. But we have did those affiliates and it was the same breath and it really worked. I would
Right.
say UGC would probably work just because of that trust builder, like another human using the
Mhm.
thing. But yeah.
Yep. So we're talking about qualifying leads. I'd love to know, like, how do you decide if a potential client is actually a great fit for your agency? What are some green flags that you look for, and what are some red flags that you look for?
At first, I didn't know what to look for. I was kind of like
Mhm.
money hungry at that time, and I was like, I know what I can do, and if you need me to do it, if you say the right number, we can make it happen. Over the past 8 months, I have put a sales process into place that is seemingly working. It is a slow burn, but it works. And so my qualifying kind of processes for clients now looks like budget first. So you need at least 3 months of a budget. So if you are budget adverse, that lets me know that we probably won't have a successful relationship just because the money's pretty tight right now. And
Mhm.
advertising in the initial steps can be expensive. Another green flag, red flag, one thing that I do look for nonetheless, I look to see if they actually know what business goal they want. I listen to see if they actually know where their business is and where they want to take it. And if they
Right.
have a good idea of what that campaign is that they're coming to me for. And then one of the other things that I look for that really lets me know if they're a great fit is if they are actually coachable and if they are a
Ooh.
leader. So managing expectations can be really hard if the person doesn't know what to look for, right? So kind of back to the last piece, like I gotta know what you want. If you don't know what you want, you can
Exactly.
get to what you want, but now you need to be able to learn how to get there.
We know working with local business owners, they can be quite impatient, right? So, at some point in time, it might be only 2 or 3 weeks into the service, so you're still basically in the warm-up phase, right? Like, how do you handle those "I'm not seeing the results yet" conversations?
I try to make sure that I'm transparent. And
Right.
with that transparency, and if they're coachable, I can kind of tell them, like, hey, we're doing X, Y, and Z. Typically this is what can happen. And from there, I don't mind showing my clients like the actual ad account. I know some agencies are like, we ain't showing them nothing. You pay us to be our best and we don't have to show you the setup. I don't mind showing you the setup. You can't take what's up here. And a lot of this, I'm always reading and innovating. So within that, I'm always telling my clients something new whenever we talk. So they're never left in the dark on what like the industry is doing in terms of their industry, CPAs and then CPMs for the industry. So like that average cost
Yeah.
for a lot of their awareness campaigns it is. And that's basically it, child. We talking, being transparent with each other. And from there, they know what to look for. And we just keep going. But I think I've been blessed in that regard.
Now, of course, we know, like, now great things, come. Also, there's there's the things that we've learned over time by failing. So what is a campaign that completely flopped and you're like, all right, like what did you learn from that?
This is when I was first starting out in my career. So basically this campaign, I won't say the client, this was not a medical client. This was a real estate client specifically. And so that it is considered a special ad category when you're running certain offers in real estate. I basically ran it against data that shouldn't have been applied to the advertiser's account. And it didn't flop, but we got audited. Like it was an internal audit that was right. So those happen, or at least on corporate accounts, and even in my agency, I look at everything. But on these accounts, everything gets audited, everything gets looked at, everything gets double checked and fact checked. And so we got checked, and it was a flop because I almost lost my damn job, but not in a bad way. I was able just to kind of like turn off the campaign. There wasn't any money wasted or anything like that. It didn't run for like more than like a day or two, but I learned in that to slow down. I learned in that to actually look at my build outs. Like I fine tooth comb everything. Like I will rake through every single thing. I'm not a micromanager. People out there looking to work with me, I'm not a micromanager. People love working with me. But I am a type A when it comes to advertising. Starts with the A. So I do look at everything now. I look at the data we're using, the source of that data we're using. I look at the advertiser account, the goal of that actual ad placement itself. I look at the accounts itself, like if it's, let's say, Meta, if it's Google, I look at what they will allow and won't allow, because some things are indifferent.
No, that's an amazing lesson, because I guarantee a lot of people don't even know this stuff. And, good for you for being a steward and learning from it and making sure that your client accounts are, audited, that you do. I would rather work with an advertising agency that is very, very particular about things. So, shout out to you for saying slowing down, because a lot of people in marketing, want things done so fast, but it's like some things you actually need to really take your time on so you can make sure it sustains.
That's true. That's true. We do work on a New York Minute now, but that's true.
Thank you so much for coming out into the marketing department. And where can people find you, just in case they ever want to schedule a discovery call?
Well, yeah, first, again, thank you for having me. And y'all, look, we do have consultation hours, $150 an hour, and they work. We don't waste 60 minutes of my time. But I would say, people can find me. I do have a brand website, zayamdesign.com. So that's ZAYAMDESIGN.com. There, changes start here. Go ahead, start your changes right there. Also LinkedIn at Isaiah McSwain. So you can send me a connection request or a follow. Might follow you back, might add you back too. And then from there, we also have our business number and email.
And one bonus question: What marketing conference are you going to be at this year?
Oh, so many! Oh my gosh! So of course, I will say Marketing for the Culture Summit here in Houston, Texas. That is on August 27th. And then I am also going to the creator economy this month. I did not get a ticket yet. I do the late travel thing. That's my bad. But outside of those two, I was also thinking about Brand Week, but undecided.
I want to check out Ad Week one day.
Yes.
I'm about it. Ad Week is on my list. And that's another reason why I'm excited about this podcast, because I'm low-key also really getting invested into this podcast so we could take this to some conferences.
Exactly. Look, I will say this, Creator Economy Live, back in 2023 when they were in Vegas, all the same people, I wouldn't say damn near every single person, back in November of 2025 at Brand Week in Atlanta, same people was there. So,
and then I'm just gonna end off by saying, y'all, marketing is such a large, this is not a one size fits all, people. As you see, he works for a specific kind of customer because he knows what to expect more on that end. I would say that, what he's talking about might not work for your industry if it's not that, right? Like I said, I'm in the consumer app space, so we might have to lean into other areas more like ASO, SEO, UGC,
you can do ads too.
So many things. And ads too. Yeah, we can use ads too, right? But it might not be display for startups, right? It might be something else. So it's always nice to have conversations with everybody who services a certain kind of industry, because you might see what works best for that industry versus another one, So thank you so much for coming on. And yes, he will be at the Marketing for the Summit. Marketing for the Culture Summit, which is out in August. So I'm excited to see you there as well. And when we drop this, we'll make sure that we tag you. We'll make sure that we tag your website. And like I mentioned before, if you are a local service-based business and you aren't running ads yet, or they're just not making you back any kind of money, come holler at my boy Zay.
I got your back. Thank you so much.
Ooh, y'all feel that fire that Zay just dropped? Look, if I learned nothing else, I learned that it is so important to know your position, understand the kind of customer you really can serve. And I mean like overserve, like such stunning results that your customer is dying to pay you again. Because that's the thing, whether you provide a product, a service, an app, etc., people want to make more money, especially with marketing. People hire marketers so they can make more money and pour back into marketing. So if you are an agency owner, I want you to really think, are you delivering enough so that you have a repeatable client? Because if you make them more money, then they will pay you more money. Like that's just, that makes sense. So advertising as an agency just makes sense when you know that you can overly serve for your client. Anyways, that was an amazing episode. I loved having Isaiah. I definitely want to bring him back in the future because as we know, marketing changes so much. Ads change so much with the rules and such. So I definitely want to bring him back just to see what's his thoughts that later down the road about acquiring customers, are leads getting more expensive or cheaper, how to keep driving down CAC, and so much more. But if you really found this episode valuable, please, please, please subscribe, share, and make sure you also subscribe to our Substack newsletter because we drop gems all the time. We have events, we have community there, we have dope articles that go out so that way you can learn more about some of the marketing experiments even I do as a founder and others do as well as we have them as guests, because we're not going to just have people as guests on the podcast. We're going to also have guests in our posts so that way we can still drive value to you. And eventually the goal is for us to have such a dope marketing community that we have webinars, we have teachers come on board and so much more. And it all starts with you guys subscribing. And in the future, if you feel like you really find this valuable, hey, so pay for one of our subscriptions on Substack because we take that money and reinvest it here. All right, it's been amazing having y'all. To your girl Bree Flemings, the marketing department, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.